Hey, what's up guys? My name is Josh and welcome to another review. Today we're going to be talking about the Mayflower Objective 2 Amplifier and ODAC. Overall, this is a pretty simple device. I'm going to be talking about the build first, and then we're going to talk about the sound and how I think it competes against other things in the market, as well as what headphones I recommend using and what headphones I don't recommend using. It's a metal build, pretty solid. This isn't too often talked about, but I do like the feet on here. They tend to stick to the desk and they don't really move very easily. So you can plug things in and remove things without a whole lot of movement, despite the lightweight and small nature of this device. On the back, you have your power input as well as a mini USB into your 24-bit DAC that does come in this thing. On the front, you have a power switch. You have a 1/4-inch input for your headphones, a light that shows whether the unit is on or not, a volume knob, a gain switch for high and low, and then a 3.5mm input. Now, as far as inputs and outputs, that's about it. And I guess that leads me into one complaint that I do have for this unit, is since it does have a DAC, I would have liked to see RCAs out of the back, especially switchable RCAs that maybe are even volume controlled. And the reason why I want to see this is because if you want to hook up a pair of monitors on your desk, which is where this is primarily seemingly supposed to be used, or another amplifier, you have that option, but unfortunately they didn't add this on there. And I think at this price range, it would have been a welcomed addition. Now let's talk about power. Now the headphone output power is about 600 milliwatts. So for 250 bucks, definitely not the strongest thing on the market today, especially if you're considering dedicated DAC and dedicated amps. You can get amps like the Magni for $100 that have like 3 watts. But as we know, power is not everything. So from a subjective point of view, how does this sound to me? I think with this thing, as long as you operate within the means that it does operate in, you're not trying to push things that really need a lot more power to push, you're gonna have a really good time. The sound is dynamic, clear, and crisp. Those are kind of the defining features of the sound. And I have a couple examples here. So right here I have HD58Xs from Massdrop. These are a very, very efficient headphone. You can power them off of just about everything. But out of the Objective 2, you really start to see some of the benefits over something like your cell phone, for example, or the output out of your motherboard on your computer or something like that. So it plugs in, and you're gonna get really, really good sound out of it. Now the volume knob does seem to be a very linear approach, and the noise floor on this is quite minimal until I'd say about the last 10% of a turn or last 15% of the turn here, you start to notice a little bit of a noise floor when you're not listening to anything, especially with efficient headphones like this or IEMs or something of that nature. Now there's also a middle ground, which I think this does pretty well with, and that's going to be kind of decent sound pressure level headphones that aren't particularly hard to drive, and mid-range or lower impedance headphones. So this T1 is 102 decibels per milliwatt, and this ZT1990 is also 102 decibels per milliwatt, but this is a 250 ohm headphone, and this is a 600 ohm headphone. And with this headphone, you definitely notice when you're going to more powerful amps or higher quality amplifiers, there's a little bit of a step up, but you're also paying a lot more for that. But the sound coming out of this is, for the price, honestly superb. And this combination for like $600 or $700 is really all that you need to get some really superb sound, the majority of that cost coming from the actual headphones themselves. And that 1990 was the majority of the actual listening testing that I did with this, just because I'm so familiar with that headphone, and it is a very revealing headphone and will kind of tell you a lot about whatever amps that you're playing on it, good and bad. And if this can power the headphone, I have zero complaints. Okay, so a little bit of a long-winded conclusion here. If you're gonna be kind of defining the pound for pound best, I don't think this competes at the price range. I'll say that straight out of the gate right now. I think if you're looking for the most output power or the most clean amplifier that you can get, if you're looking for a DAC amp combo, you're probably gonna be better off going with a dedicated DAC and a dedicated amp, like a Grace S-DAC and a Liquid Spark or a JDS Labs Atom. That'll get you very, very clean power. However, something like this that is built to be an all-in-one, it's a really good all-in-one. It's a whole lot cleaner than something like the, the Shipfolded 2, which is a great amp for $100. But there's noticeable improvements from something like this, especially in terms of the cleanliness. Now, a couple more bits that don't really have an overall strong influence on the conclusion, but are notable. This does come with a very, very impressive 10-year warranty. And I said 10 years. That's pretty impressive. If not industry leading, it should be. Maybe there's somebody out there with a lifetime warranty, but 10 years is really, really impressive nonetheless. And fairly enough, if you plan to have this for years and years, that sort of insurance is very valuable to have. Now, like I said before, I would have liked to see some RCAs if they come out with a rendition 2 or a version 2 of this or the next iteration of this. I would like to see that addition added, preferably selectable so you can turn it off, especially if it's going to speakers and you want to switch from headphones to speakers, headphones, speakers. I'd love to see that. So final statements, not the pound for pound best, but a great amp DAC nonetheless. So I want to send a big thank you to Mayflower for sending this out for a review. They are not allowing me to keep it. I do have to send this back. And I do have their Mayflower Arc, which I will be talking about in kind of a gaming related video because it has a lot of fancy features like mic inputs and things of that nature, DSP adjustments, fun stuff like that. All right, I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. I'm uploading daily now, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and leave a comment down below if you have any questions. My name's Josh, signing off.